I got a question on my website, and in this case, it's more beneficial to just make a video reply so more people can get the information. So just a workflow question in regards to the posts, your posts like the one above. Have you dialed in a quick method for your screen grabs? I'm using the old school print screen, paste into Paint, crop, then save as JPEG. But that's not very efficient. So let me show you how I go about doing that, and the subject of this video is AutoHotkey, how I use AutoHotkey to set up an automation, various different kinds, that makes life a lot easier on a Windows PC for repetition. So, how I pull my screenshots. First off, I use DaVinci Resolve as a video editor. It's completely free. You can use the free version or the studio version. I use the studio. I don't need any of the studio features, but I like it so much that this company took the time to create a free software that I purchased the studio version just so I could show my support. I really, really like this particular software. The way I make my articles is by grabbing screenshots from the videos. And the slow method, it takes 3 steps, and you can automate that with AutoHotkey. So the way I do this is before I edit anything, this is a completed edit. Before I edit anything, I scrub through each clip and say, this is the step that I want to talk about. So I'll press F for full screen, press Windows print screen at the same time. That creates a screenshot. Press F to get out a full screen. Now that's the manual way to do that. I have that automated on my F7 button, and I'll show you in just a second. But if I do that several times, F, print screen, F, I'll get all of my screenshots so that I can write an article. Then I'll go to my screenshot folder, which is C users, whatever the username is. In my case, Threadripper. I have a Threadripper CPU in this computer. Pictures, screenshot. All your screenshots are right there. You can sort them by the order in which they were taken, and then select them all and rename. Now I'm using a program here called Directory Opus, which is another thing that I absolutely recommend if you are on Windows computers a lot and dealing with a bunch of files back and forth and such. Topic for another day. Built into Directory Opus is a rename feature, and I have a standard rename that I've created. So what this will allow me to do is name every single one of them in sequential ordering. So I can put, for example, this particular one is how to make drawers. And this automation will allow me to add a sequential number at the end of them, starting with 001 and increasing by 1. So you can see if I press apply, it'll change all of these from screenshot to the name of the actual article, right? So that's part of the process. I wanted to show that as well. Now, in my notepad or Word document, I'll say this is text about pick 1. Then I'll press 1. This is text about pick 2. Then I'll put 2. Yada, yada, yada. 3. Some more stuff, 4. And that's how I write my articles. That way, when I'm done writing the article, I can paste all this into my website and highlight this and put image 1 there. Highlight this, image 2, this, image 3. All right, so there's the process, kind of a little bit of extra info. But AutoHotkey makes this process a lot easier. For example, this is a script from AutoHotkey. Let me back up a second. AutoHotkey is the ultimate automation scripting language for Windows. Now, don't let that fool you. I know nothing about scripting other than what I Googled and copied and pasted about this particular program. I do not know and understand scripting language, and you don't have to either. There's plenty of documentation out there that will allow you to get set up with this free software to use it to your advantage. So with that out of the way, here's the script, some parts of the script that I've created, and I'll walk you through each one. This is a script, this is one, this is one, and this is one. There's 4 to look at. So, screenshot command for DaVinci Resolve with F set to full screen. This is what I created. This is my note line, and this right here is what I actually have to do. I have to press F7, and it does all of this for me. So send means push. What do you want the keyboard to do? You want to push the letter F. Sleep means pause, right? You need to wait 400 milliseconds. Send, remember we're pressing the keyboard again. Pound, if I'm not mistaken, is the Windows key, and then print screen is the print screen button. So press print screen and Windows at the same time. Pause for 60 milliseconds, and then send, press the letter F once again. So if I press F7, it'll do all of that for me. Let's go back to DaVinci Resolve, and I'll just press F7. Boom, boom, boom. Did it all for me. Go over here, F7, F7. One thing to note here with DaVinci Resolve, I have the timeline preview set to the full resolution. So I'm using 4K clips on a 4K monitor with a 4K playback. That's probably not the most ideal situation to edit with, but I'm using a powerful enough computer where that's fine. One thing you can do is set the timeline resolution high like this, so you get all your screenshots that you want, and then change the timeline resolution lower so you can edit a little bit more efficiently, or use proxies. Anyway, all of that automatically goes to my screenshots folder, and you can see the ones that I just added right down here. So that's how I can use, where to go, this particular software, AutoHotkey, for my screenshots. It makes it automated. Whoops, and my phone or my watch alarm's going off. But wait, there's more. Here's another one that I use all the time. Google search highlighted text. That's pretty darn cool. Let's just say we're reading this document, and I'm reading this. I use this a lot for definitions or quick figuring out what something is. DaVinci Resolve, what is that? I could search that immediately without opening my browser, without copying, pasting, without having to type anything down with this particular automation. So in this case, I have it set to do Control-Shift-C. And what does that do? It tells my keyboard to press Control-Shift or Control-Copy, which is copy, Control-C, which is copy, sleep 50 milliseconds, and then run http google.com/search. And what are we going to search? We're going to search for whatever we have on our clipboard, which is whatever I just copied. And then it's going to end the automation. So I don't even have to have my browser open. It'll automatically open my default browser and search for something. So let's just say we don't know what DaVinci Resolve is. With this activated, Control-Shift-C immediately opens up my browser. There you go. This is DaVinci Resolve. It searched Google for DaVinci Resolve. So as we're editing, or as we're reading this as we're reading this right here, this is the word Linux. What in the world is Linux? I'll highlight that, Control-Shift-C, immediately search Google for whatever I have highlighted. Oh, all right. So it doesn't have to be one word. It's anything. Linux distribution, Control-Shift-C. There you go again. It's a super handy automation. So this one right here is search highlighted text. It's not necessarily just for running tasks. You can use it for data input. Example, my email address. Some people say you're silly to put your email address out here in this video. I don't really care. So I have Control-Shift-J for my email, my business email, jscustomcreations@gmail.com. So if I go down here, you can see how easy it is, Control-Shift-J. I don't have to type that out every time. Control-Shift-J, J, 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 J. You can do it as much as you want. It's so fast. I love it. Here's one that I use on a weekly basis. So I sell digital goods on my website. Sometimes technology can just kick you in the butt, and that's common with email addresses. If anybody buys anything from my email address from a weird domain name, like my email address at rr.net, roadrunner.net, you're not going to get my email. Roadrunner will automatically put it into the spam folder or something. It's always the weird email addresses that go to the spam folder. So about once per week, I have to respond to somebody who did not get what they purchased via email. So plan not received via email. This is one that I created. So Control-Shift-3. Now keep in mind that with these auto hotkeys that you set up, you don't want to use shortcuts that are commonly used. Control-C is copy. You don't want to put a auto hotkey to Control-C. Control-Shift the number 3. I don't think I've ever used that other than in this situation. So that's what I have it here, Control-Shift-3. And what that does is, as I'm receiving an email from somebody who did not get what they ordered, Control-Shift-3 types out all of that stuff for me. Hello, your name. My server is showing that an email receipt containing a download link was sent at the time of purchase to. I'll double click that and I'll paste your email used. I'll paste that right there. And I like this because what I'll do is I'll open up my email server and take a screenshot of my email records showing that the email was sent without any errors. So it was sent. My apologies for your email service not receiving it. So what I'll do is I'll paste that email address that you used rather than retype it out, because that lets you know that that's what you input. And sometimes you input the wrong email address. Happens a lot with AOL email addresses. They'll put at AIL.com instead of .AOL. O and I are right next to each other. So that lets them know that, hey, you put the wrong email address in there. Honest mistake, but there you go. Below is a screenshot confirmation showing that the email was sent with no errors, and here is your unique download link to get the plan. So then I'll come down here and paste the link, paste the screenshot. And you can see how this will save a lot of time for stuff that is repetition. Now, I only get one of these, once a week or so, but having a keyboard shortcut set up to where all I have to do is press Control-Shift-3 is super handy. You can see how this can be handy for various different things. So, encourage you to check out AutoHotkey if you are on the computer a lot. You will find it useful. If you're not familiar with automation scripting language, for Windows, like me, I was not familiar with this. It's going to be foreign language and super confusing, but AutoHotkey has a great amount of documentation. There's a lot of other stuff. If you just search Google or any other search engine, you'll find a lot of examples out there that you can copy and paste and then modify for your own needs.